calma. Donna Natalia, donna Valeria. Con calma. Okay, we start. It's already the time. Welcome everyone. We start with 9 breathings and Guru Yoga. Okay. So as we said yesterday, we will continue to look at the pranayama, the fourth pranayama. And also I found the notes that I took about that, because I had an old phone, and so there was still the old thing. So I found it, so we can see that. But before, maybe we do a little bit moving the body. Everybody does what he or she likes, or in general find useful, and then we do the pranayama. I thought we were smoking, like the corner of my iPad is doing. Also, I brought the gonta, so we can see how it goes. This is, you see, is this length. Yeah, this is fixed. It's incredible how the one I did in the beginning is loosening up the body. It's absolutely ridiculous. If you try to go down, if you do this, it's unbelievable, really. Before this? The first that I did. You try, you see. It's ridiculous.
I'm not sure if I understand which one.
This one. No, this one. This one. Is, and, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I did like this. I mean, I remember it was like...
No, but the sequence is really effective.
You need to do like this and then go...
Yes.
And then you do this and...
Yeah, and then back like the dog. And then, well, you are flexible, but after you've done a few times, you put the feet together, like the dog. You go in the dog. And then walk back. No, 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 no. The opposite, with the hands. Because it's gentle on the spine, like this. Okie doke, key. Okay. This is the male lotus. Since I was born male, I do the male lotus. Is the right shoulder, right? The gonta. Yes, because it's the soul, of course. I always have the tendency of doing something mixed. Eh?
It's a little difficult to hear you back there.
Is a bit what?
Difficult to hear.
Yeah, well, in fact, I couldn't hear. Okay, this is a bit loose, or maybe because I became thinner. That is the other possibility. So, would be like this. But, yes, because I made it for that. Okay, so. Is already a little bit too loose, because if it's really the right measure, it should really tighten. Tighten. Okay. It should really tighten like this. And then, if you do like this, when you stretch, you really feel that is locking very strongly the position. And it keeps you, you can't really fall back, so somehow you can relax in a way. What?
I don't know, we're not sure if it's on the left shoulder or the right shoulder.
I follow him.
No, he had it on the right, you weren't looking.
No, but he told me on the left.
I'm pretty sure in my notes it says on the right. I will check.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He said me too. It's on the left. And then I put it on the left. I thought it was on the right, but then. Yeah, it's different. It's different. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, women is opposite.
It's just because I will find no excuse, because I looked in like this, and I said like this, and we misunderstood. From my side.
All right. Yeah.
It's mine.
It doesn't matter. It's not that suddenly you become changing, switching. Could be interesting actually, but it's not so easy. All right, then you stretch. And now is perfect for the normal way of doing. If we want to do this, then should be longer. Otherwise, you can't. But in reality, at least this is my understanding, you actually use the gonta if you want to practice for a little time. If you practice 5 minutes, I don't know. It's really so important to have the gonta. But if you practice long, is useful. I remember. You're really nicely packed. And if you are like this, again, now if you don't have it, you cannot try. But again, if you do like this, then bloating the belly is really not so easy. Or even breathing only in the chest is not so easy. If the position is correct, automatically leads you to breathe, opening the side, diaphragmatic. It's really, maybe I say automatic because I'm kind of trained to do that. But I'm pretty sure the mechanic and that creates the position leads to that. So even if there is no particular training, it is a big help. And obviously, also for the kumbhaka is the same, because if you are already breathing in that way, you don't have to worry too much about how to get into close hold, because it's easier. And you simply increase the tightening of the sides, and you lock into kumbhaka, pulling up from below. Otherwise, it's only close hold. All right? Now we are going to see.
I just need to start to put immediately. Yes, the memory of body.
Yeah, maybe some previous life you were a yogini and then is still there somehow in your karmic memories. We probably have been all jumping here, jumping there all the time, so. Yes, the notes. Here they are. And yes, they are here. Okay. So. All right. $238. Pempa. We are to this point. In this way, through the 7 phases of this pranayama, slow inhalation, open hold, directed hold, closed hold, contracted hold, quick exhalation, and empty hold, one can develop the full capacity of the yoga of prana. And here there is a note. This note is the other one. Yes, this practice can be done gradually. As this I explained yesterday, but I want to to show you that it's based on notes that I took when I asked clarification to Rinpoche. So,
when you read slower,
what?
when you read,
Because it's going forward. Okay. Yeah.
the speed of the reading.
Okay. This practice could be done gradually, 2 elements at the time, 2 and 2, or also all with 1 kumbhaka, or also putting the air on top after every phase, going up, melting 1 element in the other, 1 element in the next, 1 element in the next, in this way. Is what I already explained yesterday, but here there is the notes. Now, exhale quickly with Ha, draw your sides in and plant the central channel. By applying a contracted hold, pleasure, hits, and vision of experience develop. The next instruction, is relative to something that looks apart. But in the note, there is the indication that this phase could also be the phase of the end of the principal practice, planting the channel. So it means that we can finish the main pranayama in this way, exhaling strongly with Ha, draw the side, and planting the channel. So planting the channel, it means some kind of thing that in Hatha Yoga is called Nauli Bandha, but without really, not without circling around, really, but planting the channel. So you have to do something like this. That. So this can be applied at the end of the practice, at the end of this phase of the practice. Since yesterday we arrived here, so we go through again from here. Because, I read it now, because the mouse is out of the cage. Is the mouse?
I have a question though.
Yes.
You said you plant at the end of, I'm not sure which phase. Where are we planting? You
At the very end, when we have to exhale.
when you say ha, or
Yes, but when we exhale, quickly emitting aspirated ha, and then you can also plant the channel.
even if you don't go on to the next part, you just plant.
No. It's like it's normally finished, but there is the added thing that you can also plant the channel. Now here is where the things became a little bit not so clear. Because now the explanation of the text says, standing with your legs 2 palms width apart and your hands on your sides, with the thumbs turned back to draw the sides in, or, if you prefer, take the position used for the pranayama or secret breathing, the posture of Hunkara. In either case, align your neck and torso and press the bottom of your chin to your throat, opening the chest and shoulders. Okay. And here there is 218 note. With the back as straight as possible. So this one, you see, is a little the bottom of your chin. Again, here is the famous story. Every time that I asked Rinpoche if it was ever like this, he always told me not, that it was like this. Because the same thing happens later in another indication. So he never told me that we do like Jalandhara Bandha in Hatha Yoga, but always that it means to bring the bottom of the chin toward the throat and close it in this way, not in this way. So this looks a little bit like, especially the aspect of standing, because we are sitting, we are not standing. So it looks like, to me, it always looked like a little bit of something of training. You know, some kind of training, like also they do in Hatha Yoga to train the Nauli Bandha and things like this, that is done more or less in the same position, no? But this was never exactly clear. And how this stands connected to the other phases. But then, and here there is the other note, because this, I honestly, I look, because also Rinpoche probably was not practicing for many years. And then it's not that he could jump in like this with everything that manifested in his life. And so he was reading the text so here, for example, there is this other note because if you see after in the text, there are 4 different training. For open hold, for directed hold, for closed hold, and for contracted hold. Are 4 different phases that look like 4 different trainings. So what Rinpoche explained in that regarding this is that looks like these are 4 different training a kind of separate practices to train specifically one hold or the other. For example, if you want to deepen open hold, you practice the first, that is explained as the first. If you want to train Jilva, the second. If you want to train more to deepen close hold, and then if you want to go, then you do the last one. This would be the second part. Honestly, at least 2 or 3 times. And then is the last time, and I took notes directly in order to not forget. And that was the advisor Rinpoche about this phase of the practice. That is not really another way of doing, is a way of deepening the different phases of the holdings.
So when you do that before you do the pranayama?
You can ask yourself because after we go over and when we practice a little bit, but now we are just going through because commenting the notes. And in the next one, also I already told you that, but there is the last of the notes, because in the next there is the famous BEPS, I already told you. And because look like, as is explained in the text, that somehow the BEP, you see the note 2026, 2226, 2000 notes. First of all, is in the note is said that you can do not only one BEP. In one BEP you can BEP, and then BEP, and then BEP, and then BEP, and then BEP. So you are insisting to push the prana in the central channel. So probably it means that it's not that easy. It doesn't come, oh yeah, I do beep, and all the prana is going. Probably it's not so easy to really send the prana up. Otherwise, why? Bep, 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 and then fall down and boom, go up, boom, go up. Something like this looks like. So, besides somebody must have spending in the direction of dropping in the lotus position. You say, in fact, applying for a method that together with knees apart, one becomes. Because in the yantras there are some different holdings, and also different ways of doing BEP. You know, it's not the BEP is done only one way. There is different ways. Also with the legs open, like the tiger. Different BEPs. So we train in different ways. So I didn't really, I thought maybe the first one would be more from Tsokchil, for example. Now I don't remember exactly all the generation of these. So I asked, and Rinpoche said that the first BEP is done normally, sitting in the lotus, you know, you come forward and drop. We will have many with the 7 lotuses of BEPs in the lotus, because the 7 lotuses, I insist, are practice that is done in the lotus, cannot be done in some other position, is inevitable. That's why we never did in the previous year many courses on the lotus, because apart the fact of being able to do the lotus without using your hands, just zoop, zoop. Also because that is also training to do the BEP and that BEP, the real BEP, so to speak. And so the first BEP that is reported, indicating in the third part of the explanation of the practices, that it looks really, really different. But the point is probably because here originally were three texts. The yantras, the sulcor, then the aspect related to also Tibetan medicine, the physical influence on the elements and all the pranas and all the organs related to the practices. Because in theory, you were in retreat, you didn't have this mobile phone, and if something happened, you couldn't call anyone, not your doctor, and ask what to do. And probably also through this, you practice and knowing how to apply, you could overcome some physical problem, and so you didn't have to stop your retreat or to die. And then you stop the retreat for this life, and then. Well, it's a long retreat, life to life. So there is also and then there was one that was like Tsalun, no? Practices like Tumo, and this has been lost, and never recovered, never found again. Because this is definitely something that is related to those kind of practices, absolutely. So the second lotus is the most important and is done coming in, jumping up from Tsopu. Okay? So you let go the lotus, you go in Tsopu, jump up. That's why I think that the trident is done like this. Because here is saying that you go up from Tsopu. Tsopu is like this, you know. So you like that up, go like this, go up, shum, stump. That's why I think that the trident is training that. That's my opinion based on this. And but and now I don't understand my note. But even from recording of Rinpoche, it seems that can also be done, or it is done, with the open legs. So that would be why there is training of the tiger. No, no, Chichi. No, no. No, this one is the beep. No, anyway, of course, you can go up. But when I showed Rinpoche the video of Alex, he said, yes, it's like this. So probably it can also be done, because there is the tiger. So why train this kind of BEP if it's never used? So probably we can do, somebody can do. Only, not, so to speak, normal in the lotus, but also in the lotus, normal lotus, you can do beep or BEP, because you can go up, boom, like this, a little bit, or you can go detach yourself and having it more serious. Yeah, you can go higher, or you splash, or whoop, stump, more regal, more serious. Because when 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 Rinpoche was explaining some practices of the saloon of Vajrapani in Margarita, in Tashigar Norte, there was an indication of one of those coming down from standing in the lotus, stump, traditional way of doing this. And I remember I asked Rinpoche a little timidly, because, well, because if it was possible eventually to go a little down already and then do it. And Rinpoche said, if it has to be done, it is the real thing. Otherwise, it's better not. Something like this. So I don't remember the exact words, but the concept was that. Or you do it the way that is, or trying to find a way to skip something così is not the way to go. So.
If I understand you correctly, you can do like this way, or you go more like from lotus and try to go high. Another way you open and...
Yeah, yeah. Like Alex is doing.
I didn't see.
You never saw it? Oh.
He's a Chinese guy.
Yes. But also in Kunsangar, there was the other, the guy is doing it also. Going up, boom, then going up, boom, then going up, boom.
I understand how to do. I didn't see it as Alex.
Well, no, I have it somewhere, but probably Alex might be listening, can also send it to me again. But I have it.
But it's also it's a nice movie about Tibetan yogi.
Yes, of course. But for example, you know, these are the photos from Ian Baker, Ian book. Okay. For example, you see, I cannot send it to you. But if you do that, I mean, you might want to have the BAP mat. For example, here there is the BAP mat. But sometimes they are really thick. But I already said many years ago, I was in Tashijong at Losar when they do the dances, the Garcham. And there is all the costumes and everything, and you know, there is a Guru Rinpoche, the king, and so on and so on. And then they go and bring different offerings, dancing and doing things and bringing offerings. At a certain point, come the moment of the offering of the state. And so it came the two Toden, the real Toden, the professionals, you know, with everything and just the arak, nothing else like this. They arrived, and it's not it was the BAP mat, there was, and the ground was all a little bit uneven, and small stone, a little bigger stone, and earth, just really. They arrived, and then when they were in front, suddenly they jump up, stum, the two of them, boom, boom. Then remain like this a little while, and then they left. And I actually took a photo that I lost. I don't know why, I lost so many things. And exactly when they were landing, and one was not even like this, was landing like this. In the air was like this, so it probably went, and went back away. That's what they were doing. And then one of them became the tutor of the next recreation of the master. All right, so this is the story about the rest of this pranayama. As you see, it's quite complex. Most of the time, we only taught the first part because it was never possible to clarify. And again, I tried 2 or 3 times torturing a little in a certain way Rinpoche. But he kindly obliged, and the last time I took these notes. So that is the best I can do, to try to clarify how to do it. So now, if you need to do something with washing your hands or something like this, we do it and then we do some practice. We start from the last part directly. Just kidding.
Could I please ask for a quick recap of what we are doing now?
Sorry, the acoustic, I cannot hear well.
Which phase we are going to do now?
No, we start from the beginning. Of course, I was kidding. Hello. What? Welcome.
Nice to be here. I thought it started at 10.
No, because midday is not the best time of doing kumbhaka. So I decided to do it differently. Always now I do 9:30, 11:30. Although 11:30 is already getting close, but at least it's not really. Because around midday is really midday and midnight. Actually, some practice in Hatha Yoga, they do it all the time, but we have specific indications that are not a good time to practice.
Astrological midday about 2 o'clock.
Excuse me?
Astrological midday is about 2 o'clock. Like,
No.
1 meter and a half.
What?
1 meter and a half.
Yes. Yes, I can very good internet.
But we understand it. We understand it.
I have to make it shorter now. I make so much work to do this.
because you're already shrinking in the rainbow body.
If that was the reason, I wouldn't be too much worried, but I have to find a way, maybe here. Yeah, I can make it here. Here, Max.
Really nice. It's like I can do this all the day. Good. Yeah. Probably it's supposed to be really good to like activate this heat and
Yeah, of course, that's why it's done. But you have to train, and the back should be really
yeah, it looks like working easy to seduce, and if you can,
Yeah, but still, the back is
can be hurt.
no. For example, he is using this kind of
Yeah, much.
a kind of thick mat. Also, Vince was looking for one like this because he was training.
Who?
Vince.
Vince. Okay.
And so probably it should be the right thickness, the right, not too soft,
Yeah,
not too hard, of course.
It's also not really good.
I personally switched to the gentle way. I try to train Padlum.
I think I also do.
To switch to the gentle,
Why I need
to the gentle approach.
if it's possible to
Also, I don't think that I can start now to try to jump from above there. I should have done it before. But also, I've seen there was an old video about probably done in 1983, something like this. About at that moment, many young reincarnation in Tibetan Buddhism, about young Situ Rinpoche and things like this. And in this video, there was, what they said was, now I don't remember, Apo Rinpoche from Manali. Some of the people of the community that firstly met Rinpoche were also disciples of Apo Rinpoche, like Mario Maglietti and others. And, but then his son said it was not him, but was another yogi. But it was doing the BEP like this. In this way, for example. So there is many different ways of doing BEP. And of course, he was not a young yogi, and probably adopted a gentler way of nagging. You stay a little far away from people. I understand your enthusiasm, but you just came from a long trip in an airplane. Please, keep distance. No, more. What? At least 1 or 2 days, please. Why I always has to be the bad guy?
Because I wasn't even the bad guy in that moment. I stood over there. We can exchange bad guys.
What?
We are both bad guys.
I mean, it's not the end of the world.
I know. What can I tell you, maybe? It's not easy. But you know, the aim of the bet is just to have the impact, no? So maybe the different formations of the body are not so, and maybe this is sacred, but maybe the different formations of the body are not as important as having a certain kind of impact, no?
We can speculate. We can always speculate. It's not a problem, but I'm saying what I've been told, what I've been explained, and then. Because there is an increase in a certain way physically also of the action of volume. because also balloon, the purpose is to pull up and bring up. So the balloon, and this, there is really, if you can do it, you can really feel it, definitely. But I think you also start to really practice BEP when you are kind of ready. There are some videos of this young practitioner, very young. Again, still in that video, I told you that sitting there with their teacher, the teacher was sitting in this place, and they were stump, they're going up, stump, going up, stump, up and down, up and down, up and down several times. And they were probably, I don't know, 16, 15. If you really, yeah, probably we have to start and practice really. All right. Okay, so now we are back. Now we start the practice. As I said yesterday. So we do a little training. We do a little training as we did yesterday. Because as you heard from the notes, there is the possibility of doing in different ways. And I personally always had the idea that the first part can help training the possibility of doing it in one go. Charging the air, because the text is saying you can do it separately or in sequence. No? And always I had this idea that sequence, it means you can do it one after the other. And that is the reason why I asked Rinpoche, and also pointing out this fact in the text. All right? But that day I told you that we asked with Laura in Merigard, Rinpoche's house, he said that you concentrate first on the first two until you have the signs of the integration of the elements, space into air. And then we didn't have time to ask what was eventually, how we could recognize the integration of the sign of this integration. But in a reality, most probably, to really have the sign of being able to integrate, you have to practice a lot. Not just in weekends, half an hour in the morning, I strongly doubt. This kind of practice is to really manifest the capacity and the result of the practice. They need to be practiced a lot, really a lot. It's better we get rid of the fantasy that we can do it now and then, and we can have some experience, but that's what is saying the Santima Sangha base about the 7th Lojong. No, it said, these practices to manifest really the result should be practiced for months or years intensively. Intensively means not half an hour every morning, it probably means in retreat. Or to have at least an experience, should practice at least 1 week in retreat. To have an experience, a concrete experience, not the idea of the experience, but the concrete experience. So you see, but that's why, personally, applying the Kumbhaka in different practices, because we have different methods where we apply the Kumbhaka. For example, in the seven Lotuses, we apply different holdings, but the purpose is always to get to the Kumbhaka. And then we have the pranayamas of yantra. And then many of us practice the Tsalun of Bandharava. We practice Lojong. And so if you practice several of these practices, you know, then of course you get some kind of understanding and capacity of the Kumbhaka. And then trying to really get to the condition of having concretely a little capacity of parlung is very important, because then you are free, because there is no limitation of retreat, no retreat, doing this, doing that. Basically, you can try to be in the present, and so training parlun in every aspect of your life, including when you do the practice, including when you do this, when you do that. So really, especially in our time, if it's possible to get concretely some capacity of parlun, I think is really important. This is not related particularly to this pranayama, but in general, I think might be a good idea. All right. So, now we look again, like we did yesterday, at the first part of this pranayama, the first phase, okay? The one that we first manifest, visualize ourselves in Tonra, with all the channels and all the chakras, the sphere of the elements, yellow, white, red, green, and blue. And then we inhale long and smooth, and we hold open. And when somehow our hold is exhausted, basically when you feel it's time to inhale, I would advise not to wait that you really are starving for air, but when you are still have a little bit of control on the way you inhale, because the inhalation should be quick, but a little controlled. And then you top it up. And then in the way we apply the practice, we do only once. After that, we go in Jilwa and so on, and visualization and everything. But maybe we start doing it like we did yesterday, just as a training. So you top it up, remain again, and then top it up again. And we do this 2 or 3 times, okay? But before, change air. We start with visualization. Now inhale, after exhaling. And hold open. And you can go your own way. When you feel you need to inhale, you inhale and top it up. After doing it 2 or 3 times, according to how you feel, you change air and we repeat again. Okay. So you probably notice that when we do that, we wait for the open hold to get somehow exhausted, no? And you feel that is the upper chest, especially if you did breathe correctly, is not congested, is not full, there is no pressure. So when you then breathe quicker, if you really are mindful to root it below, doing Jilwa is extremely easy. And if on top of that, you put the swallowing and the balancing of the sides, you should really have absolutely no problem at all in having the kumbhaka where it belongs, okay? Exactly where it belongs. Because so many things together, the position, the stretched arms, the first phase, then charge it up, and then swallowing, and then, I mean, if you are not arrived in properly in the close hold like this, I mean, so many things are together to make it happen, that should happen, okay? So, now we go ahead. So I repeat, gently inhale the air slowly and directly with equal strength through both nostrils. Hold open, Italian tendency to say hold open, hold open without forcing, and concentrate on the blue sphere of the space element at the meeting point of the Roma and Chiamma channels, okay? In this phase, we concentrate on the blue sphere at the joining of the three channels. We have the presence of all the elements, but we focus more the attention on the blue. Then quickly inhale some more air and noiselessly swallow your saliva, push the air downward, moving your sides a bit to the right and to the left. Equalize the held air, forcefully directing it downward, make the Roma and Chiamma pranas enter the central channel. Okay? As I told you, in the Santima Sangha, where it's talking about the four phases, basically the phase of the holding is indicating these two, open hold and Jilwa. Because when the work of Jilwa is done, you are in close hold. The big work to get to the kumbhaka is done by Jilwa, in reality. Because the end of Jilwa, you just keep it there. That is the close hold. Then you pull up and you are in kumbhaka. But if this is not happening well, the phase of relaxing the open hold and directing Jilwa, then the kumbhaka is not in the right place. It's stuck in the stomach, for example. Or you feel pressure in the heart, for example. So it's very important that this is done really precisely, the phase of Jilwa. At this point, drawing your sides in a tense and tensing your whole body, close the air below the navel and concentrate on the light green sphere of the air element at the navel. So again, here is indicating that the point where we should feel the kind of concentration of the kumbhaka is below the navel. That is kind of, even if we feel a fullness at the level of the navel, but the focal point is below the navel. It's saying downward, close the air below the navel and concentrate on the light green sphere, the air element at the navel chakra. So before this phase, we are concentrating on the blue. Now we concentrate on the green when you do this phase. And this phase, if you see the note 210, basically, because we come from the pranayama of Hunkara, that we are basically in Chunsel. So even this is tense. These are not soft way of doing the Kumbhaka. These are strong way of doing the Kumbhaka. Especially at the level of the kidneys. Okay, this means that we have to tighten the sides, as it is explained in the Seven Lojong, Guru Rinpoche explaining to Yeshen Sojel, that you have to tighten the side at the side of the navel. We have to tighten the side, so there is this tension. The more you push down, the more you pull the torso up, drawing your sides in. And also this is relative to the position. More you do this, and more you feel your sides pulling in. Where was I? Forcefully push the upper prana downward and at the same time contract upward from below. So basically we are going, until now we are doing Drempa, all right? We are going Drempa, and then we do Walloon. Imagine the karmic prana rises and is absorbed into and indissolubly integrated with the green sphere of the air element at the navel. So the karmic prana is coming, and also the space element is integrating in the green sphere. And there is only the concentration of the green sphere. The blue sphere is gone. You don't have to worry about the green sphere anymore. Now, the text now is going ahead, like if it's done in sequence, no? To-do, but we will do just the first part. And so we have to go to how we finish to do it. At the end, quickly exhale, emitting an aspirated sound ha. So this is clearly, because it is the same definition like in the Tsandul. Okay, it's not ha! It's like the Tsandul. And remain empty in contemplation without concentrating on anything. In this way, through the 7 phases of this pranayama, slow inhalation, open hold, directed hold, close hold, contracted hold, quick exhalation, and empty hold, one can develop the full capacity of the yoga of prana. 2017 and 270. Why I want to go 2000? I don't know. In the Tibetan Lungi Naljor, the sign of realization of this practice manifests mainly in control over the 5 elements, because obviously we gradually integrate the more subtle element in the more heavy element. Okay, so here, as we read before, as the note led to believe, is also possible, eventually, to apply this aspect of planting the central channel. Planting the central channel is not so easy. It's not so easy because sometimes it's a little easier if you kind of lean a little bit forward, then can be somehow become a little easier, but it's not so easy, especially without training. So that's why I was led to believe that this fact of doing it standing and is also, Rinpoche says that, or sitting in Unkara, might allow to feel more really. Because the key in being able to plant, basically you have to plant these abdominal muscles, no? Like we do when we do Nauli, is not to try to push the muscles forward, but is to draw even stronger the sides in. That is something that when we start to try to do it, we are led to believe we have to push the muscles. But no, in reality, the sides should be pulled in stronger. And then you feel that you are really locking. The central channel is not physical, but is related to the physical action, is influences how the energy is moving. All right, so it is clear. Inhale, long and smooth. Go in open hold. And our attention is on the blue sphere. Then when it is kind of exhausted, we quickly breathe in again, but don't breathe in here like this. You have to breathe from the root, from below. Okay? There is basically no much air coming in the chest. It's impossible. There is no time. Should be down, because you want to send it down, so you want to breathe it down, not to breathing up and then try to do something to bring it down. It's already down. You add to this kind of a little base of the hold from before that is still there. So you are already basically almost done also with the Jilwa. And then we direct the air down. You can swallow a little bit without sound. You can balance your sides, so you're sure it's really down. And now the concentration shifts to the green sphere while you apply basically Drenpa, strongly tensing, and then Wolun. And with Wolun, we are concentrating on the integration that is coming up, the karmic prana, as integrating in the green sphere. When it's time to exhale, quickly, and remain empty. Of course, eyes open and everything. And if you know, eventually you can try to plant the channel. That will become a kind of not relaxed empty hold, a strong empty hold. Generally, empty hold is advised that is better that he is like in the rhythmic breathing, like a passive continuation of the exhalation. Strong empty hold, it is, in these pranayamas there is, and is done, of course, kind of briefly and inside a particular method with particular purpose. Actually, empty hold can also lead to enhance the experience of pleasure, for example. And especially when it's connected, if you plan the central channel, you also create automatically some kind of volume, no? And also volume has this aspect. And if we see that is leading toward also practice like Tumma, like this, like that, doesn't seem strange to me, for example. So, but generally, the practice of empty hold is done with empty hold that is soft, that is relaxed. Because if you are trained in something and you know eventually how to overcome some kind of problem that can arise, then it's different. But the practice of strong, in general, empty hold, according to different texts, can create eventually a problem with the heart. So you don't want to exaggerate in that. And of course, then there are the yantras, then there is, for example, the empty hold here, no? You go up in the jewel, and is a kind of a little contracted empty hold, no? So there is, and then in the next one, there is the empty drempa. So obviously, there is a specific function also of a strong, contracted empty hold. But in general, this is things really for people who, if you do it once or twice, doesn't matter, of course. But insisting in practicing this thing, there should be a kind of base if you really want to practice a lot. There should kind of a base also of balancing. It's not something you want to do without being ready too much, you know? It's something of this kind. All right. So now we do it. Anybody has any question about to do it? Because now we just do it.
I have a question. This inhalation on top is not supposed to be really like big. It can be also really little.
Yeah, but you have to take enough to then do. Imagine if you have to do, if you want to do all one after the other. You know what you do? And then no. For example, for me it's like this. You go, you remain. I really let it consume quite a bit, and then, yes. But no, that is what is not, no, absolutely not. Again, you should focus on moving it down here. Okay. I do it without the arms. Not without the arms. Not without the arms. But already from the beginning, the breath should be like this. And then you stay. Now I shorten it up a little bit. Clear? It's not. Because then, again, it's very easy to go in Kumbhaka. Plus, if you put swallowing, the position, and then the size like this, well, of course, you should really, really be down precisely. When Fabio say draw the side in, do you mean the inner side of the body or outer side of the skin? Sorry, but how can you only move the skin without moving?
Then I asked you to clarify.
Of course are the muscles. I don't know. I don't understand very much this question. Put it simple. To draw the side in is the two sides of the whole body, inner and outer. But if you pull in, you have to use the muscles. You have to pull in the muscles, no? And the skin comes with the muscles. I don't think the skin can remain there and the muscles go here. So that's the only thing I can say, but I explained before, no? Planting the channel, it means that. How you plant the channel, that you have to train and discover. And maybe, even if it didn't really, I had no confirmation, for example, when I asked Rinpoche, but has been always my idea, so I hope it's not a wrong one or something, but the explanation before, to do it standing, if you do standing, is a little easier to understand how to draw the side in, because it's a position that allows to do it more easily. So here it says 2 spans, so the feet are not really close, and then you do like this, and then like this is kind of easy. Okay. If you do it down, it's more complicated. If you do it here, you see, truk, and you plant the sides. All right. So, let's go. Sorry? Always Tonra. Always Tonra, because every time we manifest the channels and stuff, we always manifest in Tonra. Let me see, there is something else to... And remember, also, this was missing. Roll your tongue and through the hole of those forms, inhale the fresh air slowly and forcefully, visualizing that you are sucking in and absorbing all the pure substances of the universe in form of the light of the 5 colors. And this, I'm sorry, it was not clarified. Because this is something that sometimes we are using it also for the sotik. Also, in some of the early explanation of Rinpoche, the sotik of Mandarava, if I remember well, there is also this indication. And then other sotik, there is this indication to draw the air from the air in the tongue in this. But this was never really because probably these were also different parts, you know, or different suggestions for different aspects. And this I cannot clarify, but as doing it is easy. It's like this. It's fresh. These are the two pranayamas in Hatha Yoga, Shitali and Shitkari, no? One like this and one like this. Eating and drinking is the idea. But these I cannot clarify this point, unfortunately. But it's like this. Okay, let's get going. I don't put this, but just. First we visualize. So we do like this. Everybody according to their own capacity. If you have to stop in the middle, you stop, change air. Otherwise, you go. And after having done everything, change air and repeat. And we repeat in this way 3 times. If by any chance some people are more able to stay longer and some people less, if they see that some people are keep going, then you keep going. Instead of 3 times, you do 4 or you do 5. Always in between changing air to be sure that we are not doing something strange. There was this question. If we cut in phases, no, how is suggested eventually, then the exhalation should be with ha or normal. And generally the idea is that you exhale normally because the ha is at the end of having applied the kumbhaka, dram, pavolun, and everything. So if you decide in the middle to cut it and change air, then in this case you don't have to exhale with ha, but you exhale normally and then restart again. Okay. There is any question? And the acoustic, I can't hear you.
Yeah, so you said that we can, when we exhale, we can do the semi-naoli.
No, well, I'm reading what is in what there is in the text and what they note, that there is this phase, exhaling quickly with the heart, draw your sight in and plant the central channel. That is what the root text of Vairocana is saying.
When will be this? Like before we stretch the arms?
Because also continue to say, by applying the contracted hold, pleasure, heat, and vision of experience develop. When we draw the sight in, basically this is a drempa. No? Because when we see here at this point, drawing the sight in and tensing your whole body, close the air below the navel and concentrate the light green sphere of the air element at the navel chakra. So this, draw the sights in, not 2002, fixed with 1000. Especially at the level of the kidneys, the more you push down, the more you pull the torso up, driving the sides in. This is drempa, no? So here is the same thing. Say, after exhaling with Ha, draw your sight in and plant the central channel. Basically, you do drempa, focusing on planting the central channel. And so, heat and vision of experience and pleasure will manifest and develop. It's not nauli, because nauli is when you turn. You don't turn. It's just static. But it involves the same muscles that you use if you want to do nauli.
Okay, so this is after the ha.
Yes, after the ha. You do the, but also when you do the ha, you're already basically doing that. So you simply lock that and remain like this. So it's a forceful empty hold. It's not a relaxed empty hold. Okay. Any other question? I don't know if there is, but there is not. Who can tell me if there is or not? Yes, I clean my, oh. Seba, there is any question by any chance? Eh? Ah, okay. Yes, no, it's true. It's easier. Modern technology. This is super long.
You should give a limit of character for the question.
Okay, first, can this practice be done with the meditation belt? Well, there is an indication of doing it with the meditation belt. As I said there are different indications. Also, Rinpoche gave different indication and different times. One time he told that it's better to concentrate in integrating only the space into, into air until manifest the sign of the integration. But then, other times, and also when I ask again, said can also be done all one in sequence, as it is explained in the text. And so it's also possible to do this way. And it's also possible to do in sequence with only one kumbhaka, or topping up. After having done the first two, move to the second two, topping up, and so on and so on and so on. So I already explained this more than one time. It's possible to do in different ways. All right. And this last question, if it's possible to integrate the first two and then exhale and then start from the second. So first, for example, we do a little bit integrating space in space, space in air. And then exhale, and then start again, but this time from space, from air to integrate fire. So going first one, exhale, then do the other one. This one, I don't know. This one is something that I didn't have opportunity to ask, so I cannot answer.
But you said 2 elements at a time. You said that could be done.
What?
You said that could be done 2 elements at a time. I just wrote it down in the beginning when you were describing. So like you could do water to air, then maybe you do, that's what I wrote down. There were 3 ways.
Yes, but
All in one kumbhaka and then topping off between.
yes, but my understanding was in the same kumbhaka or topping up, not exhaling and restarting. This exhaling and restarting, I don't know.
Only with topping off. Okay.
No, simply I don't know, because my note has passed many years. My note doesn't allow me to say one way or the other. So if I don't know, I don't know. Can be, but I'm not sure that I asked also this aspect, so I cannot confirm that I had an answer about that. Yo?
Sometimes I have trouble visualizing with my eyes open. So you said that, and after the, I know when we're in this condition, after the, we should be with eyes open. But can we be with eyes closed while we're working with the visualization, or should be the whole thing be done with the eyes open? I didn't see a note anywhere. You think in general it's probably better to work with the eyes open?
My I don't know if there is a specific. Sometimes it's specified the eyes open, especially when in generally, because also regarding in this seven lojong, when there is the last one, where we also learned and tried to apply the Parlung, the third of the seventh lojong, Rinpoche explained that in this case is absolutely indicated to do it with the eyes open, but is also explained that generally in Dzogchen, we visualize with the eyes open. And especially if you are trying to be or being in contemplation, generally we do with the eyes open. And regarding if doing all the process with the eyes open, I don't know. Sometimes depends. I personally find that if I visualize with the eyes open, I have more presence. I feel is more alive. And I understand that that is the principle. The visualization should be something, a manifestation more of clarity, and should be alive rather than being seen with effort. And for me, for example, keeping the eyes open gives me more aliveness in the visualization. But probably somebody is not possible in this way because it's causing some distraction, then if you have to keep the eyes closed or semi-closed, I don't think is an unforgivable sin. But that is my ideas. Okay, now we can dedicate and finish. Dedicate with our intention and authenticate with the mantra. Om dare dare ben dare swaha Jaya Jaya Siddhi Siddhi Phala Phala Ahasha Sama Mama Kolin Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you, Vince, translating. Thank you, Seba. Thank you, everyone. No, not that the course is finished, but I can thank you. It looks like at the end. Thank you, everybody.
Practicing for the Academy Award.